everyone. Hello. Hello and welcome. Welcome, welcome. It's kind of weird being alone. Not gonna lie. It's kind of strange. It's kind of strange. I don't have voices in my head anymore. Wow. It's so quiet. I don't have weird nonsense screaming in my ears anymore. Haha. Alright. So yes, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the stream. Things are all going to be a little different today. I know that Thursday evenings is usually what we reserve for having D&D. However, last week we kind of ended our campaign. So, I know last week we were talking about having a big, discussion to basically celebrate the ending of the campaign. And, are you sure you're alone? No, I have you guys with me, of course. So, I know last week we were discussing about having a discussion to celebrate the ending of Luavara. But, I was checking the actual playlist of Luavara, and I was doing some math to put things pretty simple. I was doing some math, and I figured that there is 71 episodes of Luavara, right? In the playlist itself, unless if I'm mistaken. I am mistaken. There's 73 videos. Oh boy. So yeah, there are 73 videos. In the entire playlist. And I was thinking, on average, each stream is about, I would say, 3 hours and 15 minutes as an average, right? So if we take, let's just say 3 hours. So 73 episodes times 3 is about 219. At minimum, there is about 219 hours of streams, VODs, and a lot of clips to go through. There is a lot. So, excuse me. So, I am giving not only my players, but myself and you guys as well some time to go through, the clips, making clips, and, reliving and finding some of your old memories of the campaign itself. So that way we can have them all featured and I can have everything credited to people for the discussion that is planned to take place next week. Okay? Once the discussion happens, we will be taking a minor hiatus, a small hiatus of D&D on Thursdays, just so that way I can make sure that everything is finalized and ready to go for when we launch the first session of Endroth, which is the name of the next campaign, the region of Endroth. So, I want to avoid spoilers, and I don't want to give anything away for the actual plot of Endroth, or, you know, anything that has to rely on the story to tell. Because the players are already getting all of their characters ready. I'm finalizing the major plot points of the story. The only thing that we need to do is make sure that backstories are all set, so that way I can write all kinds of integrations of their backstories, and so that I can also make sure that character images are ready, introductions are ready to go, because I am going to be doing another character introduction for Endroth when everything is ready to go. So, similar to how we had it with Luavara, the character intros will be the first video that will be released for Endroth, and then Session 1 will be streamed at a date to be announced. Okay? And yes, it is most likely that we will be continuing our pacing, I should say. Similar to the pacing that we had with Luavara, you know, Endroth is going to be going pretty much just about as fast. Except, you know, hopefully is going to be consistent. But I don't know, to be fair, we didn't really miss that many weeks of Luavara. I think we only missed, like, what, 4 or 5 weeks? I don't know. I think we did pretty good with Luavara. Being a consistent thing, I'm looking at all the dates right now, and yeah, I could definitely say we didn't really miss a lot of weeks. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. So yes, new region, new story, new characters, but in a world where it's the first campaign where Luavara was still taking place. While things were happening in Luavara, and I mentioned this in the story at the end of the campaign, while things were happening in Luavara, there were things happening elsewhere as well. Endroth, the next campaign, is one of those regions. And now, today, what we're going to be working on is mostly just going to be, you know, a pretty much just a workshop episode, kind of. So today I'm going to be running you guys through kind of like my thought process of how I come up with each of these worlds and how I go about constructing each individual region, and more so how I plot out, you know, stories, how I plot out characters, how I plan map making, or you know, just pure general DM brain, and hopefully that I'll be able to, you know, maybe teach you guys something, have you guys see into the mind of what I go through when I create these worlds and make and write and build these stories that, you know, we've explored for, what, almost 2 years? So, that's what we're going to be doing today. All right. So let's get started, shall we? First things first. Obviously, we need a plan. There is no world that ever existed, whether it be in normalcy, in fiction, it does not really matter all that much. Originally, in every story, there is a plan. And that is where we're going to begin. So, every single time that I come up with any of my stories, I always have to have a plan. I like lists. And there's a specific program that I use to keep all of my notes and to keep how everything is intertwined and how everything is connected in a sense. And that little, hold on, where is it? That little program I like to use is this one right here. This is Obsidian. This is my little note-taking program that I like to use in order to keep track of everything. And you can see here I have multiple different folders for literally every single campaign that is going to be happening. So Luavara, all of its notes are right here. Endroth, right here. Astria, Valicid here. And then soon I'm going to have to start a folder for Demrin and its story. There's 5 regions. There are 5 regions in Aponox. There's going to be 5 separate campaigns that will be ran in this world. Today, as you guys saw with the stream title, we are going to be working on the region of Astria. So, in Luavara, you guys have heard that Astria is basically the region of magic. Okay? Magic is the primary focus of Astria. The entire region is known for its magic schools. The schools practically run the region. So that is the general basis of what the whole plot of the story is going to be. It is a magic school campaign located on the northwest quadrant of Aponox. If we go to another program that I like to use called Wonderdraft, and we go to open the world map of Aponox, this is the world of Aponox. So we have obviously the region of Luavara, up here. This is Endroth. I believe I showed off this map. If not, oh well, okay. And then Astria is located right up here. Now, there's a reason why I put the regions where they are. Every region is specific to, you know, a kind of how geological or geographical sense. I try to make it make sense, you know? Equator, poles, everything. So, yeah. Obviously, this is the Cunning Wastes located at the center of the world. You know, Endroth's northern part is really warm and tropical, while, you know, Luovara's northern section is cold. It's climate. That's where the boreal tides were, because it's closer to the poles. So, Astria, obviously, is made up of, you know, different continents and islands, with most notably the primary part of Astria being right, I would say about here-ish, where there's like a giant archipelago of islands, just a cluster of islands that house like the biggest magic school. But we'll get to that in a minute. We'll get to that in just one moment. So, let's talk about the plot. Now that we have a general base for the region, one thing that we do have to do is we have to come up with some points for the magic schools. So let's do magic schools. Obviously, this is going to be under Astria. Let's talk about these. So, one place that I really do like to use a lot is this website right here, fantasynamegenerators.com. If you're a dungeon master and your players all of a sudden ask, hey, what is the name of this tavern keep? I'm pulling up this website. As I'm literally, I've done it multiple times in Luovara, and for those of you who actually have paid attention watching the streams, you know I go on like these really long tangents and rants describing the scene of you know, the tavern and giving details about it. That is my brain distracting people, keeping the conversation going and keeping the idea of the world going, while I'm looking over here on this screen pulling up a random name for this sudden barkeep that I need a name for, because my fucking players do this to me every time. But it's okay. But it's okay. It's funny. And it's funny. And what's even funnier, if you go onto this website, I knew it. Shut the fuck up, Brady. You knew this forever. You knew this for how many years? The amount of streams that you watch, the amount of times I just go on these random tangents. I'm pretty sure I even told you myself one day. Yes, when I'm here just blabbering and doing nothing, I'm over here looking at my other screen. You can exactly. You can literally see my avatar turn and look at my right monitor. That's me looking up a name. Anyway, so basically, fantasynamegenerators.com has tons of different names that you can generate. Oh, you need... Fuck, I don't know. The name of an elven leader. Go to fantasy and folklore, elf names. Then boom. Is it a king? Okay, well, just give it a spin, you know? And then all of a sudden, you know, you're looking at Vulus Thanala or something like that. You know, just take names and just throw it at them. Welcome to being a dungeon master. Where do you think I get most of my character names come from? That's, yeah. I mean, most of my characters' names come from this as well. So, but yeah, they have all different kinds of names for you know, different fantasy races, different, you know, real names if you're looking for that, from the Americas, from Asia, Europe, the Middle East, Oceania, you know, historic names like Latin names, Egyptian, Aztec. But we got to go to places and location and magic school names. And of course, you know, you can just generate a crap ton of names. You know, you can sit here and, I mean, I've spent so much time on this goddamn website. I really wish that you can see how much time you spent on specific websites, because I'd be curious to know. I would be incredibly curious to know how much time I spent on that website alone. I can tell you how many hours I have on Roll20. I can tell you how many hours I have thrown into this website. Not just, you know, making campaigns, but dungeon mastering, being part of other games, and, you know, all that nonsense. Almost 3,000! 3,000! I have 2,865 hours. I'm getting off topic. Alright, so, the magic schools. There's a few things that we need to figure out about each of the magic schools. Number one is going to be how many magic schools there are. The way that I figured this would work out for the better would be 4 primary magic schools. Don't laugh at my typing, Pro-Mary. Jesus Christ. 4 primary magic schools. 1. So the first one are going to be levels 1 to 5. Levels 6 to 10. (11 to 15). And then 16 to 20. That is, at least to me, like, the easiest way to do this. But I'm thinking about doing something differently. Instead of having 4 schools, we have 5. Just because back in Luavara, we discussed that the highest level that, and I just want to open up or PFSRD just to make sure that that I have my facts straight here. The highest level that the highest level mage that the party has actually came across was Xavian's mom. And she was a level 13 wizard. She was level 13. Ragnir's mother, Mrs. Goldbottom, was level 10. She was powerful. By no means was she a wimp. Absolutely not. The ability to cast 5th tier magic is kind of insane. But an arc wizard of, Xavian's mom's caliber needed to have a much stronger, mana pool. Level 13 kind of made sense. You have access to 7th tier magic, but that's as high as you're going to get. At least not in a region that is focused on the study, creation, and understanding of magic. That is tied to the weave itself. So it kind of makes sense to have a general school for aspiring mages, people who want to learn magic or who are born with it and want to study it. 6 to 10 and 11 to 15 are for those who, want to continue their studies in order to be a reliable adventurer, level 6 to 10. And then the third school, levels 11 to 15, are for those who want to, invest in their magic, who want to study in a specific aspect of magic, and who would possibly want to go into teaching magic. The complicated part is the higher levels. At level 16, a level 16 wizard is just about... Actually, I gotta change that. 11 to 14. And then the 4th school is going to be from levels 15 to 19. Level 15 for a wizard is the first time you get a taste of 8th tier magic. Level 8 spells. Now, we got to keep in mind of how absolutely crazy these spells are. We're talking spells like let's see, Greater Spell Crash, that makes a target lose a 7th level prepared spell or spell slot. Trap the Soul, which imprisons a subject within a gem. Right? Discern Location, which reveals the exact location of a creature or object. Mass Charm Monster. Power Word Stun. What else is there? Death Clutch, which is a spell that you guys have seen before. You know, Death Clutch, symbol of death. Greater Angelic Aspect, Form of the Dragon 3. Giant Form 2, Iron Body, Polymorph any object. There's a lot of really powerful spells at 8th tier. And it only gets worse when you reach level 17. Because level 17, you are practically an Archmage at this point. Like, you will be among the strongest mages in the entire world. And that's a lot. That is insane. Like, anybody who makes it to the 4th school, who has the skills to get to the 4th school, if they turn bad, that is a dangerous person. That is BBEG levels of dangerous. But if you somehow manage to reach level 20, level 20, let me read you this excerpt from PFSRD itself, okay? At level 20, the wizard, this is of the wizard class, has a spell for every occasion he can imagine and a few he can't. The wizard gains 2 additional cantrips per day, 6 additional 1st and 2nd level spell slots, 4 additional 3rd and 4th spell slots, 2 additional 5th, and 1 additional 6th level spell slot. They're just like, spells? Take them. And the fact that wizards are capable of just adding any spell that they want to their spellbook is crazy. So, yeah, the 4th and 5th level schools. If you make it to the 4th school, you are an Archmage. Already, you're an Archmage. Like, literally, you will be getting letters of employment from kingdoms. Literal royalty will be sending you letters to say, hey, I want to hire you as my kingdom's primary mage. at level 20, literally the only person who is capable of teaching you at this point in the campaign is the school's headmaster himself. That is it. Ugh. So. What you can really do in terms of the schools themselves, you could have a naming theme with them. And you can theoretically do like, oh, you know, this school is a rival with this school, or do what I'm doing and having, oh, you know, this is the beginner school, the intermediate school, the expert school, the master school, and then the fuck you, I am a force of nature school. But what I might actually do here I wonder if there is like a really, really fancy way of saying like beginner, intermediate, expert, master, you know, something like that. You could do that. Or I can just come up with a bunch of random stupid names that don't actually sound that actually doesn't sound really bad. Okay, like this one, for example. Telora, Academy of the Arcane. I kind of like that name. So we have Telora. I'm not going to spend too much time doing this. Another thing that you can do is you can go to, for example, like the wizard name list. And you can just generate a bunch of names from the wizard list. Oh, here's another good one. Emerith. Iquia, No, I don't like that. Araphora. That's a good one. I like that one. Go with a good name. Like a simple name. Straxon. Ooh, Deviar, that's another good one. Let's see. One more. I don't know. Need another good one. Yeah, I don't know. Just an idea. So we have the 5 primary schools. 5 primary schools around the region that need to be spread out. With the level 20 school, the 5th school, being in that little archipelago at the bottom right corner of the region. That's where that's got to go. The other four schools, wherever they go, I do not care. Okay. So, another thing that you need to decide for a campaign. In my personal opinion, there always has to be some kind of leadership. Some kind of leadership that the heroes of the region are eventually going to interact with. And take the Nameless, for example. Their interactions with the kings and the queens and the leaders of each of the each of the continents of Luavara, they interacted with all of them because they were all tied to the same fate. Some of them were imprisoned within their own kingdom's walls, or they were run off of the throne because of the councils. You know? So, for each of the schools, you think of magic schools, right? Immediately, the first thing that comes to people's minds is Harry Potter. Okay? Is either Harry Potter or Fantastic Beasts. Let's be honest, it is just a thing that happens, okay? The most successful franchise of magic schools that there is. Granted, it was never really heavily explored because it was all tied around the Luke Skywalker of the magic realm. And yes, I did make that analogy. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go look at the comparisons between Star Wars and Harry Potter. They are literally the exact same story. It's just Harry Potter is Star Wars with shitty lightsabers. That's my personal opinion, by the way. Anyway. You see, even chat agrees with me. Whenever you think of magic school, you think Harry Potter. Who's the headmaster of Harry Potter, of Hogwarts? Well, Dumbledore. Obviously. Dumbledore was the headmaster of Hogwarts. What was... Oh, fuck. Igor... Was it Igor Kakarov? Yeah, Igor Kakarov was the headmaster of Durmstrang. And Madame Maxime was the headmistress of Beauxbatons, the French school. And Kakarov... Oh, fuck me. Is Durmstrang located in Russia? Or was it Germany? Neither. The northernmost regions of Norway or Sweden. Wow, I am a fake fan. I always thought they were Russian. Or German. I was very wrong. So, headmasters. Headmasters, headmistresses. There has to be a leader of these schools. The Russian accent throws it off. Yes. Yes, it does. That's probably why I thought Durmstrang was Russian. Okay. There has to be some kind of leader for these schools. Well, here's the thing. In a region that was... or that is specifically designed around magic. Here's the thing. There's not going to be a good place for certain monsters. So, the idea here is to have each of the schools ran by some of the most powerful magic casters I can possibly put in these schools that have the conscience enough in order to teach. Chat, let me ask you guys this. Let me test your D&D knowledge. What is the most intelligent and most magically capable monster you can think of that is from the material plane? And you can't say elf, you can't say fairy, because all of those races come from the Feywild, where magic originated from. The Fey came to the material plane, ran into this intelligent race or species, and taught them magic. Then the rest of the world of the material plane learned it from these creatures. Brady, you are almost correct. Dragons. More specifically, I believe it was the metallic dragons. Yes, because the metallic dragons are on the good spectrum. If memory serves, the gold dragons have the highest intelligence score and are lawful good. You are correct. Actually, you would be correct. I'm just looking at the statistics for the Great Worm Gold Dragon. And yes, they are lawful good. They're CR23s, by the way. And they can cast up to 9th level spells. So yes, the schools, each school is going to be run by some kind of dragon. Daragon. Spell properly. For example, aren't gold dragons to only dragon treated as a wizard? Huh? Are they? No. Pretty much all dragons are considered to be a wizard class as long as they can cast magic. The only difference with gold dragons is they have an ability called Divine Aid. They can call upon celestial powers for aids, acting as a miracle spell. And they're the only dragons that can do that. Yeah, gold dragons are considered one of the most powerful types of dragons that there are, mostly because of their connections to divine abilities. I thought the others were more like spell-like abilities. Well, every single dragon, like dragon subspecies that there is, has their own type of special ability. So gold dragons, they have the ability of divine intervention, basically divine intervention. They can cast miracles. They are considered to be the paladins of the dragon kind. Let's see. Silver dragons. Silver dragons have cold auras. They have complete perfect vision in fog. Their breath paralyzes people. And they have an ability called True Courage, which basically allows them to rage like a barbarian. they can keep fighting until they drop below their constitution. And dragons have a high constitution. Let's see. Brass dragons. Brass dragons have the ability to call upon desert winds, such as gust of wind, or you can be blinded for 1d4 rounds by the sand. They have the ability to excavate ruins, hide treasures, functioning as a move earth spell. They can put you to sleep with their breath, and they can summon djinns. I didn't know they could do that. Then you have the chromatic dragons, which are, you know, based around destruction. Black dragons are known for their necromancy. Red dragons are known for their abilities with evocation. What the fuck is a skin crawler dragon? Huh? What the hell is this thing? I've never heard of this before. Hold on. What the fuck is this? Millions of shadow spiders crawl under this dragon's translucent scales, pigmenting its pale gray flesh like shifting black sand snaking across its wasted frame. The dragon's diaphanous wings sweep back from its shoulders into its withered forked tail. Its lips, permanently withdrawn from its toothy maw, snarl with menace, and the palpable hunger emanates from the bony-faced creature's deep-set spider eyes. Oh, that sounds cool. It can burrow. What the hell? It can infest things with spider swarms. And if you're starting to die or you stabilize, it can literally eat you from the inside. That's fucking terrifying. No, thank you. What the shit? Okay. Let me think here. So, I already know who or what the overall, like, grand headmaster of the level 20 school is going to be. I already know, and I'm not going to say what it is, because it's prevalent to the story. Let me think here. I can definitely see the first school being a gold dragon. I'm not necessarily saying like a super old one, I would probably say maybe an adult. Definitely an adult gold dragon would make a lot of sense. Let me think here. Copper dragons are chaotic good. Bronze dragons are also lawful good. Repulsion breath. Control water, control weather. And they can breathe underwater. Okay. So, let's go back. What kind of spells do you have access to at level 6 to 10, Mr. Wizards? You're just getting out of 3rd level, and you're reaching the end of 5th level. So 3rd to 5th tier magic. What kind of 5th tier bullshit? Okay. Siphon magic, life bubble. Cloud kill. Hungry pit. Summon monster 5. Teleport. Okay, teleport is a thing. Charm person mass. Feeble mind. Symbol of sleep, touch of slumber. Sending. Dream. Nightmare. Daywalker, Magic Jar, Possession, Soul Switch, Suffocation. Okay. I do think a copper dragon, or not a copper, a bronze dragon, like a mature adult bronze dragon would work. Third, all right, third school. Third school, levels 11 to 14. You get into 6th and 7th tier magic. And that's already a very dangerous thing. Sixth tier evocation magic is the equivalence of chain lightning, contingency, explode head, mage's decree, and cold ice strike. Definitely, a much more experienced dragon is going to be needed for this for this school. Very old seems to fit the category. Fourth school, levels 15 to 19. We're gonna need something a little out of the ordinary. A little something out of the ordinary. Maybe a primal dragon. Maybe a primal dragon. Like a crystal dragon. Wouldn't it be funny? Wouldn't it be funny if this school specifically had 2 teachers? Had 2 headmasters? Because at this point in the school, at this point in your schooling, levels 15 to 19, you're traveling dimensions at this point. Cloud dragons? Gaseous 4, gust of wind. Control winds, control weather. I would say a cloud dragon. I would say a cloud dragon, but here's my thought. At these levels, you're traveling dimensions. Like, the material plane literally cannot hold your power back anymore. The entirety of the crystal sphere is open to you. So how about, in that case then, you start learning a lot more about different dimensions and the abilities. Outer dragons, such as sun and moon dragons? No. We're starting to talk, like, primal magic. Like, wild magic. So, how about there are 2 headmasters for the 4th school? Because handling all of these super high powerful spells, you need to have somebody who understands how dangerous this can be, and somebody who fully understands how in-depth magic can get. So, for this school, we have a crystal dragon. At the age of ancient. Yo, Kaio! Hello! Hello, Kaioku. Drink water like a plant? I'm not drinking water. I'm drinking a hard Mountain Dew right now. I am hydrating. Right. So, a crystal dragon, being the primary headmaster. Hard Mountain Dews are tasty as fuck. I'm indifferent about it. I'm indifferent about it. It's not really my thing. Drink water, you cuck? No. And last but not least, a fairy dragon. Now, this kind of looks a little unorthodox, okay? Crystal dragons are brilliantly colored dragons that have scales, teeth, and claws made of multicolored crystals, and its wings are sheets of flexible glass. And they can grow to be great worms. They are big dragons. And it makes sense for crystal dragons, mostly because of their ability to channel magic through their gems. But the fairy dragon is completely different than the crystal dragon. Fairy dragons are tiny. While you can have giant great worm sized dragons with like 200-foot wingspans, there is this tiny itty bitty little fairy dragon that just flies around the school like a nuisance. This tiny dragon has delicate and brightly colored butterfly wings and a long, thin, prehensile tail. Its scales are smooth and range in color from red to purple, with all colors of the spectrum falling in between. Its eyes are bluish green, and its backward curving horns are silver with golden flecks. The ankle biter dragon, exactly. Exactly. This thing is a CR2. They're tiny little things that somehow have the ability to cast greater invisibility. I don't know how. These things are just the strangest little creatures. And they're funny. They're just little guys. I can imagine this school, while you are learning to understand how dangerous other dimensions and outer threats can be, it's still a fact of, hey, we need somebody to teach you this kind of thing. What better teachers than dragons that hail from the home plane of magic, the Feywild? That's my reasoning for these two dragon types. I'm num num. Ooh, hungry? I had 3 burgers before stream. I had 3 burgers before stream. I don't think I am hungry anymore. Kaioku, I gotta send you a picture of the peanut butter eggs Mama Velgaros made. Okay, I'm sending you a picture of these peanut butter eggs. Just note, the cupcake sheet is for scale. There, I just sent it to you. I call them Easter turds. Send it to you too. Okay, Brady. Why are they so big? That's what I'm saying. They're huge. I call them Easter turds. They're not eggs. They're giant poops. They're huge. They are so big, oh my fucking god. Every year they get bigger, I swear to god. Every year. Okay. And then finally, the 5th school, Jesus Christ. Is redacted. Whoa, what did I just do right there? That was weird. Alright, for story purposes, I am redacting the information of the headmaster for the 5th school. That's a giant rabbit's turd? Yeah. Yeah, you are correct. Alright, so that's that. The primary information about the magic schools. Most of the details about the magic schools will be filled in like as the campaign progresses. Because you don't want to railroad players too much. Otherwise, you know, it's going to get really boring. So what I'm probably going to do is just write a basic story to get the campaign going for the first school, levels 1 to 5. Then have like a small break in between levels 1 to 5 to give the whole school setting a chance to sit on the back burner. Have them adventure a little bit, you know, test their skills and explore the rest of the region. Otherwise, we're going to be in school for 70 plus episodes. Nobody wants that. Trust me. I know. I'm not doing it. Okay? I ain't doing it. So now, I'm going to look up some real-world facts. So, a typical university semester, is 15 to 17 weeks long, including the time for final exams. This means it's roughly 3 to 4 months. Most universities divide the academic year into two semesters, fall and spring. Okay. You need a Redeem to poke with a stick? That's a good idea. Oh my god, that's a good idea. Oh my god, and if his skill can be the one to show up and just poke me with a stick that he has in his beak, that'd be so funny. Hold on, I'm getting a sticky. That's a good idea. Okay, I'm gonna write that down. Ugh. I don't want to talk about how I just spelled poking as Pokeing. I'm an English major, everybody. Oh my god. Okay, anyway. So, to make things even, because I like even numbers, 16-week semesters with a final exam at the 16th week. So, we go back to the plotting page here. School setting for spring and fall months. And then we can have the primary adventures be on the weekends. With the players, the NPCs. Players, NPCs, and the stories. When the players graduate from school, they adventure to the next to enroll. Because all of the colleges are not going to be in the same spot, you know? They are going to be scattered across the entire region. And, well, to get there, you gotta adventure, which just makes sense, you know? Let's see. Summer and winter months can be used for adventuring or job hunting. Actually, adventuring, job hunting, or other activities. Actually, job hunting, story progression, or other activities. That would be the better way to word that. Because there might be at some point in time where the story of the schools is going to carry over past the school year, and they might need to you know, continue with going into the story, hunting down bad guys, or, you know, whatever. So that's that. Let's see here. What else is there? I'm trying to think, like, what about a festival? A festival that happens every year at a different location. Okay, how about this? A festival. A festival. A festival every year in summer. At a different school featuring hand pick students to compete. And we could say this is for like, you know, school glory, you know, prize money, like tuition payments or something like that. Some, you know, something along those lines. I think that'll be fun. There's going to be a lot of tournament arcs at that point if we do this. But then again, tournament arcs are awesome. You know? Singles, doubles, and then squad. We'll have to look into that. What else is there? The magic schools. I'm thinking maybe clubs. Clubs are always a thing in schools. Doesn't matter where you go. If in high school, in college, or university, there's always some kind of club activities going on. And if you think about it, in a magic school, that would be definitely something that shows off the capabilities of the different types of magic that there are. Right? Transmutation spells, people who, you know, go heavily into transmutation can have, like, a craft show that they can be like, oh, hey, you see this little glass cup? Well, now it's a wine glass. Now it's this. Now it's that. Oh, you want to purchase it? Sure, here you go. All proceeds go to the Transmutation Club or some stupid shit like that. I don't know. Some type of sports ball? I don't fucking know. I don't want to just rip Quidditch, you know? Wouldn't it be funny? What if we... Okay, hang on. What if we had a sport that's like overall a big thing for all of the schools, and they're all something similar to rugby? Okay? You have like this... Actually, what was that game mode in Destiny? What was that game mode called in Destiny with the spark? Rift! That's what it was. That's what it was. A 6v6 PvP game mode where one individual carries a spark and you have to deliver it into the goal of the enemy. It's similar to soccer where there's a single ball and a goal, but it's rugby because you get to absolutely wail on your enemy. I kind of like that. A spark of, like a concentrated ball of magic that you just whip across the field trying to get into the goal of the enemy team. We'll have to come up with a fancy name for that. That sounds like fun. I also really think that it'll be funny to have this, but it'll be like a bunch of like super beefed up, like the strong wizards. And it's just like, oh, it's a bunch of people that are running around with sticks and fists. It's like, oh, you're trying to, you know, throw this concentrated ball of magic to somebody else. No, I'm tackling you to the fucking ground and disarming you so that way I can take your wand and throw it to somebody else, you know? That oh god, that sounds like so much fucking fun. That'll be funny. That'll be super funny. Let's see here. Magus sport? Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking of. A Magus sport. I don't know. I don't know what to call it though. But it would definitely be something similar to Rift from Destiny. Because here's the thing. While having some kind of physical magic sport would be funny as fuck, in my opinion, just having a bunch of strong wizards who have points in strength just going at each other on this field would be funny. But at the same time, it doesn't make sense for the plot or for the setting, you know? And if we do like a magic sport such as Rift, it could be a unisex thing where it doesn't matter if you're a boy, a girl, a they, it doesn't fucking matter. As long as you can wield magic, you can be on the team. But I am open to suggestions for a physical a physical magic sport. I think that'll be fucking hilarious. I can tell you one thing, though. I am, without a doubt, ripping wizard chess from Harry Potter. I do not give a shit. Wizard chess is just awesome. I am by no means good at chess at all, but I think it would be pretty funny. Okay. Let's see here. Oh. I didn't realize I accidentally joined chat. Whoops. Hold on 1 second. Okay. So, adventure to the next school to enroll. Summer and winter months can be used for adventuring, job hunting, story progression, or other activities. Festival every year in the summer at a different school featuring handpicked students to compete. I mean, mostly the story is taken care of without writing like major points of the story. Mm, I don't know. Besides the people and the primary plot. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's a pretty good spot to be. I think that's a pretty good spot to be. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do this.